Hey everybody, how's it going? Janine here. I wanted to come on to let you know that's one of the most common questions I've been hearing lately from my clients and from parents in particular is, why is my child so stubborn? And can a human design perspective help? And the answer is yes. And I'm going to tell you three of the places that I immediately would look to answer that question if you were to ask me to look at your child's human design chart, because there's so much wisdom packed inside there. So I'm going to share my screen and yeah, right here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and look at this screen, this chart right here. And three of the immediate first places that I would look to explain why a child or any person may appear, or we may receive their energy as stubborn. Number one, I would look to see if they have what's called a motorized throat center. So if you follow my cursor, I'm going to go ahead and point at the throat center here. This person has a motorized throat. Not only is it colored in, and there's a lot of these numbers highlighted, right? It's also being powered by one of the four what are called motor centers in human design. So if we follow my cursor again, I'm going to draw an invisible circle around these four shapes down here. We've got root, sacral, heart, emotional, solar plexus. These four centers are creating power, driving power, shifting it outward into other parts of the body. If you'll notice, the emotional solar plexus, also colored in, has a completely connected line, or what we call a channel, driving up into the throat. That means this person is receiving lots and lots of power, primarily of the emotional sort, upward into that throat center. Now, the throat center is also called the gearbox, and it is where in human design, it is what we call the unit of where manifestation takes place. And I don't mean manifestation like you want to imagine a diamond ring and then you all of a sudden get it the next day. Manifestation insofar as instead meaning like where we make things real. We bring things from either an idea or a feeling or a thought, and you bring it out into the world. And so people who have a motorized throat are being driven from some area. It may be coming from the heart, or it could be coming from the solar plexus through the G center up into the throat, or it could even, all of these from the root all the way up could be connected. That would be a ton of power driving into the throat. But here, this person is receiving lots of energy to get their words, their expression, their communication outward. Okay, the throat is where we express ourselves. It's our center for communication and expression. And so when you have power jamming upwards into the throat, you just want to get that out. You have to get it out. It's not going to come out any other way. All right, so how does this connect with our energy types? People who have a motorized throat are going to be either a manifester or a manifesting generator. Okay, regular generators don't have this, projectors don't have this, reflectors don't have this. So one of the key commonly known for characteristics of a manifester or a manifesting generator even, but not so much for the MGs, is stubbornness. Okay, we are stubborn. And part of the reason is this insistence that we have power jamming upwards into our throat to deliver messages, to get our expressions out, to communicate, to create. And so in a child, this can come off as very insistent. It can come off as shooting your mouth off, as very unfiltered, which to an adult may seem shocking. You may be taken aback at the things that a little manifester or manifesting generator says, but you have to remember that these beings carry the cosmic DNA of ancient kings and queens. Okay, that's sort of the understanding and the wisdom as it goes, that from the time as we have evolved as humans through various evolutions from Neanderthals into sapiens, and as we continue to evolve and develop more and more capacity for mental processing and so forth, back in the dawn of the first tribal civilizations, the manifestors were the ones who were sort of calling the shots and leading the charge. Okay, so they would be the ones who would determine what would happen and the ideas and the plans for the group, and then the others would follow suit. And so you have to remember that this is the DNA that manifestors and manifesting generators are carrying. Okay, so that's the first place that I would look, and it's very common to be a characteristic of someone who is one of those energy types, manifestor, manifesting generator. You have that motorized throat. The second place that I would look is to probably the heart center. That's probably somewhere that would be curious for me to inspect. If it were, this is not defined in this person, but if it were defined, and especially if it is their authority, if they're an ego authority, the heart's nickname is the ego, but it doesn't necessarily mean ego in the same sense that a lot of us are familiar with, but it does mean what's driving you is this inner willpower, this inner drive and motivation to take action, and it comes in big passionate bursts from the heart. Okay, people with an ego authority, and this is again going to be a manifestor, they go first. They have to go, they have a tribal obligation to their people to be the one to go first and test out the waters to make sure it's safe for their people. They're driven to put themselves in a position where they are prioritized. And so how might this come off to a unsuspecting parent? It could emanate as like selfishness, and this may be the judgment that we pass on our children. It may seem like, wow, they're bossy. Wow, they sure are self-centered. And so that can be, for us, for our culture, for our what our beliefs are about being nice and being considerate of other people, it can be very off-putting, right? But remember that these people have a innate cosmic pressure, a drive to go first to make sure that it's going to be okay for their people. They want to take care of everybody. It's a big, passionate heart. It's the brave lion that wants to make sure everybody's okay. And by the way that they do that is by putting themselves out there first. Okay. And in particular, you'll note that gate 21 is defined in this person. Gate 21 in the heart in particular, as you see, it doesn't have to be, the heart doesn't have to be defined, but this gate is called the gate of control, and this one really doesn't like being told what to do. Okay, any manifestor or manifesting generator, they don't like being told what to do either, but anybody of any type, whether projector or generator, it doesn't matter. If you have gate 21, you are someone who is born to control things, and it is very natural for you because you have an innate knowing of what needs to happen and what the best turnout for your people, for your tribe is going to be. Okay, this is all very tribal energy. The third place that I would want to look for to answer the question for a parent who's wondering, why is my child so stubborn? Because it's frustrating, right? I would look to see so this whole center, all of these channels driving up through the center here, all of those gates, right? 6124, 4323, the 18, these are all very individualistic. Likewise, flanking out to the left here, this 2838, flanking out to the right in the center there, the 3955. These are all what's called the individual knowing circuit, part of a larger circuit, and this is getting into some sort of the wonky weeds of human design, but to make it simple, it's just, if these are, the more of these numbers that are highlighted in your kiddo's chart, the more individualistic of a journey that they are on. They are here to son just texted me from school. He's not supposed to do that. He said he pulled his tooth out. He had a wiggly tooth this morning and he was worried it might come out during trumpet practice, go tinkling down and through the shaft of the trumpet. But he's okay. He must be at the nurse's office. Sorry for that. Such is the life of a mother. Sorry, these kids are on a journey to be as authentic and empowered in their own weirdness or creativity as they possibly can be. And so they might seem to us as parents as like frustratingly stubborn insofar as the way that they are determined to express themselves or to do it their own way. It's the classic, like the three-nager move, right? Where your three-nager, your 3-year-old wants to just, I do it my way. I do it my own self. What did my daughter say? By all myself. I do it by all myself. They want to experiment with doing it their own way because they're trying desperately to figure out how to move through the world being their own self. In this weird culture that we have where things are rigid, things are expected, that we're supposed to do things very logically and very consistently, and we're supposed to provide validation and proof for our actions, and we're supposed to do it within the confines of what's accepted, which is kind of bananas. Like there's a lot of room for variation, and we don't necessarily value the individual. I think we're moving away towards that, but still there are so many mechanisms in place that keep people held down. And as parents, we don't mean to proliferate that, but we do sort of put that on kids, like what's polite, what's acceptable. You can't just be your own weird self at school. You can be weird at home, fine, but don't show anybody else that. So we can send our kids messages that it's not okay and it is not safe to be your own individual self. But these people who have lots and lots of individual knowing circuitry energy riding through their bodies, they are desperate to be themselves and to express what weird creativity they actually have. And there can be a lot of sadness involved here. They can buck up against all kinds of resistance as they try to be themselves. The whole massive power behind why they should be able to have the freedom to be themselves is because it when we get to see them embodying their own, flying their own freak flag, you know, when they get to be themselves, they flourish. Like not only do they flourish and feel satisfied and peaceful inside and feel gratified for who they really are, and they can be their real authentic selves, but that shows the rest of us. They become then like an emblem for individuality and for uniqueness, and their uniqueness ought to be honored, and to be able to show other people how they too can be their own unique selves. And so I think if a parent is frustrated with their stubborn kid, there's a lot of places to look, but one of the things we can do is, well, there's a lot of things we can do, but as far as the individual circuitry, remember that they're here to be their real weird selves, and let's try not to polish the sheen and the shine off of them because they just want to be left alone to be their weird selves. Conversely, just to put this into perspective, some other people have a lot of that collective energy that's very logical, it's very proven, it's strategic, it's linear, and it all sort of makes sense. Like this is what the collective has decided is okay. And so they fall in line with that. And so they don't come off as lightning rods in our families, in our homes, in our schools. They sort of fit in. These are like the individual kids are like the classic square peg in a round hole. And I freaking hate that. I was told that my whole freaking life. And incidentally, this is my chart. I'm not going to share a client's chart, but this is mine. And so you'll see there's a lot of that going on, a lot of that individual energy. So those are the 3 places I'd look. yeah, motorized throat, the heart, the individual. There's tons of other places that I could look, and that, depending on the certain gates that really don't like being told what to do, other energies that are trying to express the insights and the clarity and the vision that they actually behold, that they know is right, and that they want to protect us from screwing up. There's a lot of that. So there's different places we can look, but these are three of the places that I start looking when someone asks me that question. So I hope this is valuable to you, and I'd like to come on again and do a another one of these, because there's some parents who ask questions about other things that they want to know. Why is my kid so? So maybe this will be a little series that I can revisit. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to go ahead and log off. If you have any questions, if you would like to chat with me privately about any of these, or if you have a question about your own child and you would like to have me take a look at their chart and give more of a thorough analysis about their specific, energies and the uniqueness going on in their bodies, I'd be thrilled to talk to you. This is, for me, it has been utterly life affirming and validating and freeing to know that there's a reason that, even though I was called stubborn my whole life, that there was a good reason for it. And so finally, as an adult, unleashing all of that conditioning that said it was bad, and now I understand there's a brilliant superpower inside there. So I want you to know that your child has brilliant superpowers inside them too, even if they're driving you bananas. So they don't try to, they don't mean to. Okay, everybody, you be well, and talk to you soon. Bye.